So, the guys from Winged Titan responded to my video earlier this year of the Kickstarter games you need to know about in sort of quarter 2 that are coming up. And so they sent me a prototype copy of their game, Millennium, which is launching at the end of June. So I'm going to give you a couple videos out of that. The first one here is just a general unboxing of what the prototype actually looks like and what you need to know going through it. So we'll take a look. The interesting point I'll tell you right now is that the miniatures are not pre-assembled. And so already that may be of more interest to you because, as you know, with the non-pre-assembled miniatures, they are much more detailed usually, but that's an increased cost of labor. So let's take a look. Okay, so here it is. Here is the Millennium War unboxing. Look at this art cover on this front box. I mean, this is a prototype, by the way. All of this is prototype. All of this is like straight from the factory that they're sending. You can see straight from here, Millennium War. A little bit of Winged Titan. Then the elements on the other side that you can kind of take a look at here. Okay, so I mean, again, this is a big box, guys. Here's my hand for comparison purposes. Like, not small, right? So we're going to start with the cool stuff. This is Demica, the Beast Eater miniature. This is a massive, massive, massive box. And this is just for one miniature if I can figure out how to open it. Now, they talk about some of the interchangeable parts, and you can kind of see right here that you've got some of them. A few more of the interchangeable parts that you can be adding. And here is one of the characters that you can be doing. Again, sort of like your Oathsworn, they've gone with the interchangeable. You can see right here the detail on that already. This is a prototype again, but you can see these arms are going to be replaceable with like some of these axes, for example, when I'm just putting it on. But you can kind of see again what the axes are going to be looking like. And again, look at the detail on those axes. Again, a few more pieces. But let's get to the big boy here. This thing is just, oh my. But you can kind of see the resemblings of what this is going to start to look like. Couple claws missing right here, the big tail right here. Looks like it actually broke off there in transit, unfortunately, but it's supposed to be looking like that. So that's kind of what you're looking at there as the finished product. And I think that would be the biggest concern when you have a miniature that delicate that you're going to be getting mostly in one piece. How is it going to be in transit? Because it's one thing, you know, if it's a prototype, but it's another thing if you have it sort of as for backers. I mean, if you had to replace all of these as well, that would be a whole nother issue. Now, up next, we have a couple of the heroes that you can kind of take a look at. Karma, the Soul Keeper. Watabi, the legendary samurai. Bernardo, the Dark Knight. And Alyssa, the Crystal Savior. So it looks like we've got a card for her. So just your basic artwork here. Followed by the stats and the abilities of what she does in the area in which around that she does it too. Now again, we've got sort of this merman, merwoman sort of creature going on here that you can kind of see a little bit of. Again, came in a couple pieces, so the piece isn't holding on quite right now. But again, it's pretty detailed. Now again, you can see her right here. Again, very, very detailed. But, again, the big concern, parts and aligning. Again, the biggest concern is not the focus of these, but how easy are these pieces, say, going to go together when you're given all of these, and how comfortable are backers going to be? Because we haven't seen a lot of other Kickstarter projects, apart from like Kingdom Death, that really does the put together. Almost everything nowadays is pre-put together in terms of when it's sent to backers, right? So now we've got Bernardo the Dark Knight here. Again, just start with his card to see kind of, again, what you're getting into. And this would be a fantastic, just like standee. I mean, the artwork is tremendous, the color scheme already. You can kind of see at his bottom what element he is there in the blue. And then again, what he's got going on ability-wise. And at the top there, you can also see the stats. You can see the type of attacks he does, the distance that he can go, the speed, the offense, the defense, all of that. Again, unassembled, but again, the detail work. It's got some abs. It's really, really detailed. Here's another one of his pieces. So again, you can kind of see a little bit pre-assembled there, just with me gently putting these pieces together in terms of what you're actually getting. Then we have Watabi, the legendary samurai. Again, this is pretty awesome looking. It's kind of hard to tell, again, the detail there, but that is even on the blade. And of course, the card. So you can see they all have 3 different attacks that they can be using on their turn. And last but not least, Karma, the Soul Keeper. Again, I won't take all these out for time purposes, but again, very detailed stuff. You can see the base here of her. Now the next part here is the board, and it comes in pieces, and so I'm wondering if this is going to be the same thing that they're going to do in the actual finished product, or if it's going to be some other fold board, because we all know the troubles with fold boards, or are you going to be looking at neoprene? I have no idea, but you can kind of see, and let me be clear again, for comparison purposes, here's my hand. So it is almost 2 hands per 1 square. So here is the somewhat finished product. This is a 3x3 grid of these tiles that you can see. And these tiles are probably a foot by a foot each. So you're really looking at like a 3 foot by 3 foot board here. I really like this blue that you cannot really get a good sense of. But let me see if I can adjust it so you can get a little bit better feeling of what that looks like. So there you can go. Here is really what the blue is looking like. So you can kind of see how beautiful that actually is on the board. It just glows, and it gives the board just a little bit of something extra. And you can see you've got your players all around the board. So if you're doing solo, you're going to be controlling 4 characters. If you're going to be playing 2-player, you're just going to have 2 characters. You're going to be able to play competitive. You're going to play the co-op. You're going to be going for certain objectives on each side. So you've got like your monster, your beast spots on each side. You've got your starting spots. You've got your relics that you're going to be sort of guarding as well on each side. So it really looks like a beautiful board. It's just how are you going to actually do this in the final product? How do people feel about a grid-based tile board? Obviously prototype, but what do you want this actually look like? Because a 3x3 folding is going to be, so we'll kind of see. And this would be a huge neoprene as well. But this is what the final product looked like. And this is massive, but this is big because especially with those miniatures, you're going to need that space on the board to hold them. Otherwise, you're going to run into a little bit of Cthulhu Death May Die field as well. So it also comes with all of those heroes like I showed you. They all have sort of their own tuck boxes as well for the miniatures and for the power card as well as the pieces. So these are nice. And, comes with a whole bunch of them. Here you can kind of see what it looks like. And then you can kind of see what it does when it's interacting. And then it runs you through all of these behavior cards that I sort of mentioned. Sort of a la like your Kingdom Death, if you will, there. And there's just a ton of these. Some active, some passive, where they're moving, how they're interacting, all that sort of stuff. What they're doing to you, even. This one sounds horrible. Devour. Okay. So again, huge deck. Now, obviously, like I said, they didn't have all the miniatures to include in a prototype, but here, you know, they have this other fantastic art that you can kind of see as all the other characters. Now then they give you this Millennium Gate card, which is sort of the other way to win in a battle when you're doing head to head, is to capture the gate. So here you can kind of see some of the art. Again, art looks fantastic. I would be very happy with just like a set of standees with this art on it. I mean, I'm easy to please though. I know like you miniature guys out there, you heavy miniature guys are really wanting these details and be able to paint this stuff and everything like that. And here's that book, the Demica book. You can kind of just see, and this thing basically gives you a lot of lore at the beginning with some of that artwork. That's the same stuff that's on the box. And then it just kind of runs through a little bit of the lore. And then as you sort of page and thumb through here, you can kind of see a little bit of everything that's there. A little background on the heroes, a little bit of background on the miniature and the monster. And then what you're going to be kind of getting into is you're going to be getting into a little bit of those miniatures that I mentioned that are going to be coming with that. I'm assuming this is an expansion. And the Black Desert map, how you're going to be setting up there. Then a little bit about said monster cards that we already sort of discussed. What it looks like on the actual board, what the setup is looking like, and then how the monster is going to be sort of interacting and how turns are going to be going. So here, set that aside a minute. This thing is the actual rule book. Again, it has sort of has this KDM vibe going on. And you can kind of see, again, the beginning is very KDM-esque. It has a lot of the art that you're going to be seeing, talking about the background of some of these heroes and having that element of things before it sort of gets into the rules about halfway through, what all you're getting, all of the heroes, all of the miniatures, everything that's looking like from that side of things. And then it sort of breaks down the rules themselves, everything from the hero tokens to how they're interacting, the actions that they can use, the items, how you're going to be combining them, what the setup is going to look like, the cooperative mode as well as the head-to-head mode. So it breaks down all of that, as well as all the monsters. And I think this is important to mention. There is a quick how to play guide. This is like a one-page thing that you just flip over. Now, the other thing that you need to know right now is look at all these icons. These are all icons that you're going to need to be aware of, right? Now, most are intuitive, but some a little bit less so. And this is all like laminated, so that's why it's having a little bit more of a sheen. So here is the main kit and caboodle. This thing is heavy. Don't let me fool you. This thing is quite heavy. It's like KDM-esque, only it's about half this length. So again, thick box. These are the tokens for all the heroes right here. And these are like the miniatures, like the bases. Again, like metal weights to put on the bottoms. And here are standees. And again, like I hope they offer just like an option for this. Although they look a little bit more cartoonish. I wish they would go a little bit more with just the regular aesthetic. But these are thick. These are really thick plastic right here. Very thick. Very impressive. But I would just be happy if, if you cut the cost in half and you just went with these. For people like me that are not good at assembling miniatures or painting miniatures. And then here's what you're getting in the rest of the box. So they have this card dealer that they use to put the cards in that you're drawing from. Just a nice little holder for you. Here are all of your magic cards, your mana cards, everything that you need to see. So here are all your magic and mana cards that I've now unboxed. And you can just see, they're relatively straightforward. They're broken down by the 7 elements. And then there are a few others in here. This is air, master, so that's a different one that you need to be aware of. And then you start getting into, as well, the fire. Okay, now you start getting into the weapons that you're going to be buying and how they're going to be interacting as well. And then some other items that you can be using. Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt. Anyway, sorry, I couldn't resist. A little old school LARPing right there. Again, these are your objectives that you're going to be trying to knock down or destroy. Each side will have 5, and they all have ranging hit points. So here, you can see also, these are a little bit different. These are your hero trackers. And so you're going to be using this little tracker around the outside, anyway, to keep track of stats or health. And you're going to be putting your character slot like right in the side there that you can see. So all of the characters are going to go right in here, and you can see some of the other dials right here on the edge too that I'm moving around. There's several things that you can manipulate here around the outside in addition to that inside tracker. So to keep track of all those stats, so you're not having to do as much upkeep. So that's a nice feature. Then this is said Millennium Gate. Okay, now with the magic of video editing, I have unwrapped all of these and kind of, you can give you the little bit of a glimpse at these tokens. And so you just got some of your generic tokens right here. Kind of hard to make out the symbol there, but it's there. Then again, you've got more tokens. These are very nice. Then you have these different tiles, the hexagonal ones, the different abilities on them. For example, here you go. The Phoenix Aura, Stone Smash Golem, Quicksand, and so a little bit of everything. So then again, more of these enemy tokens. And these are elemental beasts that you're going to be, most of them, trying to fight or kill because you have to reduce the elemental level 1s and then the elemental level 2s in order to win in the head-to-head. So here you can see another one of these tokens. I won't run through all of these, but you can get the gist. And now, you thought we were done, didn't you? Here, move those out of the way. Here is another main board. And this thing, again, is massive. I'm going to have to move everything, slide everything around here because it's the same size as the other board. And now this is just folded, but it's double freaking sided. Being careful all the way around here with this thing. Here you go. You can see this thing is massive. Again, this is probably another 3 feet by 3 feet. Again, different aesthetic. Same setup around the edges, though. And then it's double-sided. And this, I believe, is more of the boss setup. Got it tilted there for you. There we go. But again, massive, massive board. One of the biggest boards I've seen. And like I mentioned with the Millennium Gate there, it has a practice test sort of boss as the Millennium Gate itself. And so it sort of has the cards that the AI is going to be using as the Millennium Gate. So you can kind of see what you're going to be in for. Okay, so that's it right now. Next video on this will be a little bit of gameplay overview, maybe with some review, maybe separate. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but if you liked it, tune in. There's going to be more. As always, thanks for watching. Stay classy. See you around.